That hover jig is so deadly. We're going to tell you guys all a little bit more about this and what it does and why it works so good. If I can get the fish in. Yeah. Come here. Come here. So much fun. Come here. Really nice fish here. Come here. Oh, just not done yet. There's really not much you can do. I mean, just have to fight them out. Okay. Goodness gracious. Are you strong? Are you strong? Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Gotcha. Yeah. Beautiful smallie there. Ate the hover jig. Look at that beautiful fish. Is that a beautiful fish right there? Oh, I love it. I love it. So let's tell you a little bit about the hover jig, okay? Let's put this back here. Okay, so here is the hover jig. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you a better explanation of this. I'm going to get out one of my, here you go. All right, so here is the hover jig. All right, and they make them in a bunch of different sizes. All right, and the one I'm using today is just a 1/16. We can get it off of there. Here you go. Actually, I take that back. This is a 3/32 is what I'm using. Okay, here you go. There. Okay, so this is the hover jig. All right, and so how we rig this is, and what I'm doing is I'm using another pinpoint minnow from Lure Parts, and this is in the siren color, and I did this specifically. I asked them to do this for smallmouth. So on a cloudy day like this, you can see it better, they can see it better. So you rig the bait. I'm going to show you how to rig this. Okay, so we'll pull this out of here. All right, so here is the pinpoint minnow. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to rig it right at the head. I am going to go back a little bit. On the pinpoint minnow would be right past the eyes, okay? So then what I'm going to do is push down, thread it up. I want to make sure I come out through the center of the bait. Then I'm going to push down into it, and then I'm going to take the point of it, push the plastic up and over. And there you have the hover jig, okay? So what this does, imagine those of you who like to throw a fluke, and just another great smallmouth bait, but what this is, it's almost like a weighted fluke. So when you throw it out, it sinks and it turns, and then what I'm doing is twitching my rod tip. Well, the second time I twitch the rod tip, I just let the line go tight. And this is absolutely, without question, one of the best representations of dying bait fish that I've ever seen. And when you have a calm day like this, you can really watch that bait work. A lot of times you can just watch the fish come up and eat it. We've done well with this on crappies, on largemouth, and today on smallmouth when these fish are just cruising. If you see the area we're in right here, this is a pre-spawn spot. Some of these smallies are spawning here, some are moving a little bit farther back. We found them in both places. This is right now in about 6-7 foot of water. So they're cruising up and down this rocky ridge that we have. So when we see one cruising, what we do is we throw either a Ned rig to it. If they don't take that, a hair jig is another thing, and then we throw the hover jig at them. One way or the other. Smallies are curious and aggressive by nature. When you got them in a position like this, when they're cruising looking for food, hover jig, you're gonna get them. Come here. Oh, buddy. That's a good one there. Oh, that's a good one there. Oh, yeah. Play that out. Don't want to, I mean, you can't rush them. But fantastic. Fantastic. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Come here. Gotcha. Oh, man. What a pretty fish that is. I got to show you this cool little bait. This is really neat when we put that fish back. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love smallmouth. This is Lure Parts Online little pinpoint minnow, and I've been using it. A lot of guys have started using it for the forward-facing sonar, and that's great. It works great on a minnow head, but I've been putting it on our little Ninja Ned and throwing it as a Ned head. And the cool thing is it's buoyant plastic. So when it hits the bottom, I sit there and shake the rod, and the tail literally just goes like that. I picked up, and all of a sudden the line just went tight. Set back, and the fish was there. A buoyant plastic is really cool when you have a head that stands up real good like that, because the bait will just level itself out. And a lot of times we're just dragging it. That was just a pitch. It went down. I shook it in place because I saw a big rock right there, picked up, and the bait started moving. What a great little bait. And when you're up in Minnesota, you can't beat green pumpkin. You can throw 1,000 other colors, but 999 of them better be green pumpkin. That's a big fish. Oh yeah. In between these docks we're fishing, we're throwing a little hair jig, which is always a great early season. Look at the size of that smallmouth. And these fish are being real lethargic. There's not a lot of wind, but they just cannot resist that hair jig. That's just such a pretty fish. This is always just a deadly bait for us to throw this time of year, especially when you don't have any wind. And I've always said for years that probably a lot of my smallmouth, over 4 pounds have come on the hair jig. It's a little bait that just flat out catches big fish. And here's a good proof of that right here. Look at that. Look at that. Always a staple if you're a smallmouth angler, VMC black 1/16 ounce hair jig. Look at that beautiful fish. See ya. And there she goes. And we love doing this every year because I still believe a lot of people just don't do this, and that is just that 1/16 ounce hair jig. This thing catches me big crappies, big bluegills, big largemouth, but when it comes to pre-spawn smallmouth and you don't have hardly any breeze, you better be throwing a hair jig.